This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. Police Bear by Candace Ayers. 1. Maverick. Murphy's wide ass nearly toppled the tower of paperwork stacked precariously on the edge of an overcrowded desk. I stifled a groan as he weaved through the congested precinct, his beady-eyed scowl focused intently on me. The Special Cases Division of the Las Vegas Police Department was small, cramped, and frenzied. Swerving just in time, Murph jostled Novak's elbow, sloshing coffee over the rim of her styrofoam cup and down the front of her blouse. It wasn't abnormal for Murphy to be wearing a scowl as he sought me out. That didn't faze me. It was the evidence box clutched in his meaty paws that sparked my irritation. I'd just gotten back from an undercover job cracking a wolf-shifter fighting ring. I was tired and more than a little cranky. I would still be in a world of hurt too, if not for my shifter healing abilities. Good goddamn, it had been a hard week. Mav, glad to see you back. And good work on the underground fighting ring. With a clenched jaw, I nodded and forced my lips to contort into something that may or may not have resembled a smile. Something came across my desk. It's a cold case from just shy of a decade ago. He saw the tick in my jaw and raised his chin defensively. I know. Cold cases are no one's favorite, but I need this one taken care of. Dover's out and Grady is too green to take on something like this. Besides, I think it involves one of your kind. By your kind, Murphy meant shifters, and if shifters were involved, the case was mine whether I wanted it or not. Technically, I didn't work for the Vegas PD. I was on loan to them from the organization, BERS Division to be precise. The organization had at least one specialist planted in every large metropolitan police department to deal with sensitive cases involving shifters. I watched as Murphy deposited the file box on my desk, right on top of the report I was working on. I let out a sigh and massaged the bridge of my nose. I'll get started on it as soon as I finish up this paperwork. Should have had that done already. He shook his head. It's never a part of the job that you hotshots like, but it's what puts the bad guys behind bars and keeps them there. With that parting shot, he zigzagged back to his office and slammed his door. I dropped the box on the floor next to my chair, and proceeded to ignore it while I finished typing page after page of notes and cataloging evidence. I would have rather spent the time slowly and methodically beating my head against the wall. When I felt as though my eyes would permanently cross if I had to type one more sentence, I stood, stretched, grabbed the cold case box, and headed to the conference room to review it. Everyone else hated the space designated as a conference room, because it was located in an especially dark corner of the basement. But, as a bear shifter, its den-like quality appealed to me, not to mention the fact that it provided plenty of quiet and solitude. When I flicked a switch, a lone, bare light bulb that hung from the ceiling illuminated the space. If one could call its dim glow illumination. It flickered pitifully and left all but the center of the room still bathed in shadows. With an extended claw, I sliced through the tape securing the evidence box, well aware that this particular box had spent the last decade gathering dust on a shelf in the LVPD evidence locker, completely ignored. As I removed the lid and got my first glimpse of its contents, I vaguely wondered why now. Why, after a decade, was this case being reworked? It wasn't as though we were experiencing a shortage of criminal activity around here. This place wasn't called Sin City for nothing. But my job was not to wonder why. Scratch that. My job was exactly that, to wonder why. And then to follow up my speculation with solid investigative work. Fortunately, I had a natural curiosity and an innate tenacity, the combination of which made me perfectly suited for my profession. My eyes landed first on a stack of crime scene photos. The poor fuck looking back at me from the glossy 8x10s was a gruesome sight. The phrase ripped to shreds sprang to mind. He had deep gashes across his face and chest, marks made from a weapon I instantly identified. Bear claws. The victim's throat had been torn out in what was clearly a very vicious bear attack.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.